Hello, Taurus, beautiful peoples. Welcome to your April Soul Session. Let me go ahead and put you guys' little banner up. I hope you guys are having a happy Friday. Let's see here. There it is. Boop. There we are. Here we go. Hey, Natasha. We gonna jump in with you guys' overall energy, but of course, you guys know that we're going to start with our same old little pick a stack. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to separate these, and because y'all know, in between my little breaks when I do these live streams, I'm always shuffling and reshuffling all of these. But I'm gonna separate this into 2 stacks, and hopefully these are going to be even. Oh, it's about right. Okay. So this is stack number 1. This is stack number 2. Let me see if I can do a little more that way. Okay, there we go. So stack 1 and 2. So you guys put either 1 or 2 in the chat, and whichever we have the most of, that's where we're going to pick for you guys' overall energy. Hello, everyone. Hey. Hello, Jessica. Hey, V. Oh, we got 2. Lots of energy here because you froze for a second. Did I really? Oh gosh, come on now. We got 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, buku 2s. Oh, we got more. I think it's 2, y'all. It's 2. I'm gonna need me to not freeze. Come on now. Come on, energy. Not today. Look, yep, it's definitely 2 for sure. I need this energy to not be playing with my emotions like that. I'm just looking at my computer, making sure I don't have. Yeah, everything is closed. Come on, internet, be nice to us. It's Taurus time. Okay, it's Taurus time. Come on, internet, be nice. Okay, anywho, so we're gonna go ahead and jump in. We're looking at April for my beautiful Taurians. So we're going to start off with an overall energy, and then we're gonna hop in to you guys tarot, and hopefully our internet connection works with us. My people saying nope, not today. All right, so what's going on for Taurus for the month of April? What can we tell Taurus for April? Overall energy. Whoa, hello. Interesting. I love how this flipped out the same way that Aries did. So our first card out for overall energy, Taurus. Look at my autofocus being a good machine. We have isolation, and it says reclusive, exile, ostracized, alienation by others, or self-imposed. So the thing I feel compelled to say with that is what I always say whenever we're speaking about isolation. But there's a vast difference between isolation and solitude, right? Because solitude is something that we're doing from a place of empowerment, right? It's like if you're an introvert and you need to kind of take a step back for a second to recharge your batteries, or if you're fasting, or you're in prayer about something, those are the times that we go into solitude, which means it's a temporary thing that we're doing, right? So it's not like a permanent state. We're just doing it for a little while to recharge our batteries, or we just need a little bit of alone time, and we have every intent to go back to life afterwards. That's vastly different than isolation, because with isolation, that's coming from a place of disempowerment or fear, right? So we choose to kind of pull ourselves off, and a lot of times it ends up becoming indefinitely. So I don't know what this connection is between Taurus and Aries, or if you guys just have a lot of that in your chart, but this is kind of piggybacking similar to what I was feeling of the energy that they're out of in the month of April, where this is more or less like a self-imposed isolation. It's no longer solitude, But what my guides are telling me, that there's some of you guys who have been telling yourself that it's solitude, like saying like, oh, I'm just a loner. I'm an introvert, I'm empathic, all the energies and the vibes, and it's just, becomes too much for me, you know what I mean? But there's coming to the realization that whether physically with you not with people, or we're just needing this in the sense of an emotional or a heart space, like your emotional connections with other people, there's a need meant to oneself that you've in a state of, whether energetically or physically, of self-imposed isolation, and knowing that that's vastly different than solitude, even though you may have been telling yourself that for some time. You know what I'm saying? Already getting interesting. So let's see what my little tea leaf cards have to say. Okay, first card out. Well, interesting. We have frying pan, and it says trouble, accusations. Interesting. Okay, Taurus, I already see where this is going. First thing that I heard with that is jumping out of the frying pan, jumping out of. See how cross-eyed I am right now getting this message. If I were to go back to isolation, it's I'm seeing this as like a projection. So it's not to say, because I would have to get into the tarot before I could say that for sure. It's not to say that any challenges that you guys are facing this month aren't real, but a lot of this is coming from isolation being an energetic statement. Like it's a state you guys are operating in, which is me back to Aries, because what's happening external. Say if like you, I don't have female friends or caddy, right? It's like that's coming from a decision you made within yourself to isolate, right? And that's now a belief. So when it comes to connections with other people, like if you ever met like a female coworker and she's like, "Hey, let's go to lunch." It's like the challenge or the trouble, if you will, with this frying pan card, it's coming from the false accusations that you're projecting on to your female coworker friend that wants to do lunch, because the thought of like all women are catty, and that's why I don't have female friends, because all women are catty. So it's never really getting to know the person. The thing is, jumping out of the frying pan into the jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. Oh, wait a minute, guys. Hold on. My alarm in my house is going off. Give me one. Okay, so sorry, y'all. That literally scared me to that scared me to death. I'm so sorry to disturb y'all reading Taurus. Whew. It was just my mother coming over. But I was just like, I'm here by myself. And I was like, why is my alarm going off right now? I was like, somebody's in my house. But it was my no big deal. Okay. Whew, child. That totally just freaked me out just now. So anywho, back to what I was saying. I'm so sorry if I freaked you guys out just now. I'm so sorry. Child, look. Okay. Anywho, But the whole premise with this is that with this isolation, it's an energetic stance you guys are taking to where it's causing you guys to and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm trying so hard to not say this that I just said in Aries, but it's like there's a really heavy connection that I'm seeing with the energy between you two guys. It's like it's an energetic stance that you guys are taking with this isolation, even though it's self-protection and jumping from the frying pan into the fire. Like I said, my alarm went off. Jumping out of the frying pan into the fire is when you guys deviated from maybe, fraternizing with solitude from time to time and fully aligning with the isolation. The isolation is the fire, right? Being in the frying pan was the fact that sometimes, when you would take a break because you're an introvert or you're an empath or what have you, that engaging with people in this way. So, like I said, like with, female friends, having female friends hurt me, right? So I jumped to the extreme of saying no more friends, right? But that could be with a myriad of different things. So it's kind of backing yourself in a corner to where you're in space, which makes total sense. It's like being in a consistent comfort zone. And that's what's kind of cheating you guys out of like opportunities to truly experience it has for you guys. Okay, so the next card that we have out is Tulip, and it says great passion. Oh my gosh, that's the thing. Like the thing that you guys are being held back from is, and I don't know what is going on. I might have to look at the astrology, dude. This is reminding me of that Ace of Wands I was seeing in Aries. And I'm so sorry to be talking about them and y'all reading. But it's a great passion, dude. So it's something for you guys. I feel you have the opportunity to step into alignment this month that's very much in alignment with a true desire, whether that's, that's job, that's creativity, or what have you. But it's less how I'm seeing it. What is this seeing? It's like I don't know what that is. What is that? Is that like a bunker or like a fort type of thing? So it's like, okay, I guess it's a bunker. It's like you guys being down in this little bunker, and it's like there's like the little walls that are kind of like up. And it's like that's a safe space because it protects you from any form of attack, but it's not letting you out and it's not letting other people in. And it's like it's almost kind of like the decision you guys would really be making is between, fulfillment or safety, if that's making sense. Because it's almost like that false sense of safety isolation totally gives you. You know what I mean? But it's like, do you want to have safety? And I use that word lightly because I'm not saying that, no, of course, everybody wants to be safe. But it's almost like, do you want that safety or do you want like a fully fulfilling life? Have a fully fulfilling life. It requires you to take a sense of risk or take some chances, which means, come out of the bunker, Taurus. And I hope and pray that that is making sense. So the next card that we have, okay, based on the dream I had last night, if I never saw another boat again, we have boat. It says money or property through an inheritance, winning or windfall. Child, look at that. Okay. Here's the thing. I can't say none of y'all are not going to win the lottery or find out that you have a great uncle that was like a gazillionaire or something. Not saying that that's not going to happen for you, but that's not really so much how I'm feeling this energy. It's like I feel like on the other side of this isolation, like coming back to the land of the living, Taurus, therein lies fulfillment, passion, action, and prosperity, right? All of these things are waiting on you, but it's your fear, like that bunker that I'm seeing. That's all fear that's holding you in there. And I feel, and I have to say it this way, you guys could continue this way for the foreseeable future if you willed so, right? And once again, you'll have that safety, but you won't have that full-on fulfillment. So again, we come back to the crossroads. So it's a question of, what's most important for you. But I also am being told by my guides to tell you there's a need for you to be fully isolating yourself, right? Whether that's physically or energetically, coming from a disempowered, fear sponsored place, not coming from an empowered place. Even though you may be telling yourself that. And I totally get that because y'all know that I'm double Taurus. So I completely understand what they're saying because I know I be doing that. But anywho, let's go ahead and jump into you guys' cards and see what's going on for you guys for the month of April. I am so sorry if I scared y'all. I really was terrified, y'all. I literally was like, somebody's in my house right now because I know that I set that alarm. Whenever I'm here by myself, I always have my alarm on. So I was literally terrified. Just I was like, is this really about to go down on live? All right, let's see what's going on here. These cards not want to come out, y'all. Oh, there we go. All right. First card, we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. So we're coming into the month of April towards needing to reevaluate the plan, the way that we have been maneuvering with things, how we've been connecting with people, our relationships with people. If you're not a person who's isolated yourself to where you don't have friends and stuff, but whether it's our jobs, our friendships, relationships with what have you, or just where it is that you are in your own personal development, we're coming into the month of April needing to reevaluate, which means that something is kind of off. Something's missing, if you will, right? But for some of us, I feel some of you guys may be clear specifically on what particular area we're speaking about right now, because I do feel heavily, like I was saying, in you guys overall, that it's more or less in relation to other people. But I feel for others of you, this very well, okay, they just said money. Okay. For some of y'all, it may be how it is that okay, it goes two ways. Some of you guys are overspending. Some of you guys are hoarding money. And I mean, me personally, I understand the whole energetic exchange thing, but I mean, it's better to kind of hoard money than it is to just be overspending it. But that's just my opinion. But for some of you guys, it's money. For others of you, this is related to job and career. And I feel specifically, if this has something to do with a job, you're working a job that's very stifling, would be the word. It's like, there's not really opportunity for growth. There's not opportunity for advancement. It's just kind of like, I don't even know. Like, I feel like it's like I don't want to say entry level position. For what it is that I'm seeing, it would feel like one, but it's kind of like the way the company is set up. You're like trapped. You know what I'm saying? Because you would think typically like, oh, you're working in an entry level position, you can move up to like supervisor or whatever. But something I'm seeing specifically with this is you're fully aware that there isn't like opportunity to move up. And I don't know what kind of job structure would be set up like that. But child, look, all these reverse cards, Taurus. This is something that you guys would be aware of. So this is something I can say wholeheartedly, regardless of what this is that is being spoken to, Taurus. Coming into the month of April, whatever this is speaking to that's on your heart or on your mind, you're coming in knowing that there's limitations to this particular thing. But it's like, even if it's something external to you, like the job, it's like you have to acknowledge the self limitation that's working in accordance with that limitation. Or even if you think about it like, a relationship, if you're in a relationship with someone where you're giving, and always there for the person, but they're never there for you. Or if you think about it in the sense of like friendships, like you're the one who's always picking everyone up and, letting them borrow money, but it's like they're never reciprocating that back to you. You feel what I'm saying? It's like those are things that need to be evaluated because there's something top of mind for everyone. But it's not about just blaming it on the external circumstance. There's a need to admit to oneself that we've resigned ourselves in some sense or another into this less than stellar situation, or the proverbial fire, if you will. Now, the next card that came out is the Chariot in the reverse. And of course, that's Cancerian energy. So this is once again speaking to an imbalance. It's like there's our feminine aspect of our inner self, right? That's our receptivity, right? Our passivity, receiving messages from spirit, receiving inspiration, what have you, and acting on it, or being emboldened in our passions and acting on it. But there's something with this that's off kilter, and that's the reason why there isn't any forward movement. But you ask yourself, well, what the heck is that about? Next card, we have the Six of Cups in the reverse. So it's something where one foot is tied to the past. And this is so ironic to me, dude. I'm sorry for bringing up Aries so much, y'all, but they have the Two of Pentacles in the reverse right there. This is just tripping me out of, I mean, we are in Aries season, but I guess. So check out that reading. And the next card that we have here is the King of Pentacles in the reverse, right? So the whole thing we're talking about here, the whole thing we are talking about here, Taurus, is there's a ball and chain, if you will, to your past. Whether that's a memory, whether it's a heartbreak, whether it's a disappointment, whether it's a false core belief. I heavily do feel with this, I have to say that with this King of Pentacles in the reverse, this does feel like a father figure, I have to say. And it would be someone where this hoardy energy, like I was saying with the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse, how I was saying like someone who hoards finances. It's like there's something that comes with a father figure where it was either you watched your dad like kind of be a miser, where he had money, like he made money, but he lived, and not like in a typical sense of like someone who doesn't live beyond their means or anything. But I feel like this is a guy who went to the extreme of not living like on a status quo kind of level. Like, and I'm thinking about that show that was on TLC, like Extreme Cheapskates. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, but it's like I feel a vibe like that. So this is a person who it was making like well over six figures, but just elected to live a life in that way. But the thing I'm being told in reference to whoever this person is to you, the reason why they did that was also out of like a fear-based isolation kind of energy, where it's like them growing up and not having much. It's like they set it in their brain that they would never be in a situation again where they don't have things. So it's this thought of, if I hold on to all my money and don't spend it, and I'm very miserly on, buying dollar store, toilet paper and, stuff like that. It's like I'll never have to know what it's like to not have food to eat again. I'm sorry, I'm sipping water. But they would never have to know what that is. Now, specifically for this person, for some of you, this could be grandfather, father, but it's someone who plays that kind of role in your life. But why they're highlighting him is to show you like what I'm talking about, of the fact that this guy grew up very poor, went to college, got a good job, started business, whatever, got financially secure. But because of that fear from childhood, aka Six of Cups and the reverse, because of this fear from childhood, every decision he was making was influenced by that fear, but he wasn't aware of it. But what they're saying for you guys is that you are like, you're watching a freaking tarot reading for Christ's sake, right? So you have a level of self-awareness that this person didn't have, right? So you have the power to change something in reference to this by identifying what, like how this was for him. It's like you can actually identify it, whereas he may not have had that chance. Because I don't know if this is someone who's still with us or not, but it's also telling me that this influenced you as well. So however this person is, right, it influenced how it is you're maneuvering right now. And that can also go in the reverse. If you had, parental figures who were terrible with money and were like spending it all the time and stuff like that, then that's something you kind of picked up, you know what I mean? And it could be fearful in the sense of you wanting to, not have people think certain things about you because you don't have certain, types of car or dressing like a certain way. but it's the fact that what is influencing you is something from past tense, right? It's not something that's happening now, but it's throwing you off kilter, right? Like it's putting you into that bunker, it's putting you into isolation, and it's keeping you away from the things that you really want. So it's still kind of like this energy where it feels like a resistance, like it's almost like Taurus is trying to get somewhere and it's like a uphill battle, but it's because you're not realizing that you're running with ankle weights on, if that's making sense. And I hope and pray that that's making sense. But all in all, for those of you where this doesn't even refer to a person like a father figure or what have you, it's really speaking to what needs to be reevaluated as far as how you're approaching things. It's a hoardy kind of energy where whether it's resources, it's money, it's time, it's love, like whatever it is, there's a level of you guys kind of breadcrumbing it out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what needs to be evaluated, because with putting you guys kilter, like forward movement is contingent upon you receiving and you acting on what's received, you know? And I feel that there's not really a lot of action. It's a lot of you guys kind of receiving, which would be the polar opposite of Aries. Because with them, it was like they're taking a bunch of action, but they're not receiving. And it's almost like, and they just said the word engorged. It's like Taurus is getting engorged on spiritual insights and knowledge and wisdom and like all of this stuff. It's like, and you're getting like plump with all of this, whatever it is that we're talking about here, but you're like breadcrumbing it to people external to you because of fear, which makes perfect sense, but it's putting you out of balance. And that's why you guys aren't moving forward. I hope and pray that that's making sense, child, because this is interesting for me. But all of this goes back with that Six of Pentacles, the Six of Cups in the reverse energy, whether this is speaking to a parental figure or it's speaking to an experience that you guys went through that caused you to go all the way to the left, like go to the extreme to get out of a situation that wasn't very comfortable for you, but it's, you went all the way left on some stuff. But that's totally normal when we're going through development with things, because y'all know I always talk about my Likert scale. It's like if we had zero boundaries over here on the right side, then, we get our feelings hurt, get tired of being taken advantage. We're going to go all the way to the left side, which is like, locks, chains, 10-foot electric fence, like buku boundaries, right? Like we can't get out, no one can get in, just like you guys bunker that I saw. But now it's all about you guys coming back to this middle road so that you can move forward. So whatever it is that we're talking about here, Taurus, why there's been resistance is not because this isn't for you or that it's not going to work out. It's just that you have to get back into alignment with yourself to match that energy signature of what it is you're trying to get to, if that makes sense. The next card, child, look at, we got the Four of Wands in the reverse. That's the thing. It's a disharmony, man. It's like your foundation of self has to have this yin and yang balance, that masculine feminine balance, that receptivity and action, right? Without that, it's like, a wagon with one wheel and a crazy horse that's just going bananas and we just bouncing around everywhere. So with this Four of Wands in the reverse, dude, the call here is to create a sense of stability within the self, right? It's to address what this fear is, Taurus. Like, and I think I need to just ask you guys that, like, everyone who's in earshot that's listening to me now, if we just took a moment, just took a breath, and you ask yourself, what is it that you're most afraid of right now? What is it that you're most afraid will happen? Or what area of your life is the most unsatisfying? Right? And it's like whatever the first thing is that quickens in your spirit, that's what we're speaking to. So, whatever facet of your life is, we're saying the why behind all of this is that we're on an uneven foundation, right? If we were to really talk about this as some architectural type of terms, right? If you have that's built on foundation, it's going to continue to sink. It's going to continue to crumble. Your walls are going to start to crack. And once again, and I think it's so interesting how they're having me pose this to you guys. It's you asking yourself, what do you want more? Like you have a house, but your house is sinking. There's cracks in the wall. Like vermin can get in. But you have a house though. And the question is, do you just want the house that's sinking and cracking that you have to keep botching up just to say that you have a proverbial house, right? Or are you willing to get to what the root of the issue is, which is the foundation? But in order for you to fix the foundation, it's going to require you to have to knock down that dilapidated house, right? And I think that's where the fear lies. It's this thought of losing something. It's like, this isn't perfect. It's not ideal. It's not the best house on the block, but it's my house, you know? And like, I don't want to go stay in no hotel. You know what I'm saying? Or what if this new house that they build, I don't like it? So it's all about a choice. And the thing I think is beautiful about this is it's empowering because it's not an energy that's telling you a this or that where you have to. It's not like an urgency where it's like, Taurus, you need to figure out what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you need to knock down the house. It's not a message. It's just making sure you're fully conscious and aware of what you're doing. And it's like spirit saying, hey, you got cracks in the house, it's sinking and all of that. But if this is, your stilo, like if you're cool with this, then you can have that. That's totally you. But it's like you can't choose to not want to give up the house and complain about it anymore, though. It's like if this is the route we're choosing to go because you don't want to have to go through that whole process of demolishing the house and, digging up the ground, laying up new foundation, that's too much going on, then you don't have to do that. You could legit keep the house, but you just can't complain about it because you chose to stay in that house when you've been given an opportunity to have an entirely new house built. But in the process of that, it's like all your guides, ancestors, and everything wants you to know, like, just know that, these walls is cracking and the roof is all dilapidated and everything because the foundation is uneven. Now you know that. But now, since if you wanted to fix it, that's what has to get fixed. But you can still stay in that house. You can choose to demolish it and then build a new one the proper way, right? If I were to give my advice or my 2 cents, knock that mother sucker down. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of nice technological advances with homes that are new. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's totally up to you. And I like that because that gives me a sense of peace. Because we really don't do too well with ultimatums as Tauruses. I'm just. But I think it's a beautiful thing because it gives you a sense of peace because it's not like a push of Taurus, you got to do this now or else. It's just all about what do you want for your life? And I feel that that's a question, Taurus. Once I pull y'all last card, that's something I would want to leave you guys with, even though I'm not leaving you right now. But that's something I would want to leave you guys with to ask yourself consistently this month. Like, what do you really want for your life? And I think I told you guys last month, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Like, if you could challenge yourself this month just to spend some time like journaling about it and really thinking about what do you really want for your life? Like, what do you really want it to look like? And I don't mean that, and that's going to be a little, hard for us. I don't mean that in material stuff. I mean that from the sense of from the within to the without. Like, where do you want to be seated within yourself? Like, do you want peace? Do you want loyalty? Do you want honesty? Like, what do you really want? What do you want your life to be like? And ask yourself that this month until you have an answer, because I feel we have an opportunity this month to get the answer to that. There's many of us where we can easily fall into the trapping of the void that we feel in our hearts and our lives and our minds or what have you. No, that's 3 cards. We can easily fill that with stuff and things or busyness or, what have you, or protect ourselves from disappointment, just not fooling with people at all. But it's like allow yourself to dream a little this month and to ask yourself what it is that you really want. It's not about necessarily believing that it's possible just yet. It's just get clear on what it is that you want. And this would require someone that you trust you can speak to this about, because it feels almost like something you'd have to process of what's keeping you from getting there. Your friend Marlo's telling you it's the bunker, right? But allow yourself to come up with an answer within yourself of why it is that you feel that you aren't where you're supposed to be, and challenge yourself to not involve other people or, anything external. Challenge yourself to see, like, okay, what is it that I could do different that would get me closer to that? Just a little brain game for you. So one more card for my Taurians. I hope and pray this is making sense to y'all. One more card from my Taurians, please. Oh, Jesus. Well, that's my answer. Okay. We have the Queen of the Pentacles and the reverse. So once again, this is our whole little stilo here. This is you, my Taurus. This is not necessarily speaking to other people. I mean, for some of you, we want to throw some people on it, but I don't really feel like that's the direction that we're going. We could say this is mother father figures, but I really feel this is speaking to, with this Chariot in the reverse, is speaking to, which is your masculine and your feminine energies, right? There's a lack thereof of taking action on things because Taurus is being held prisoner. You're being held captive by fear. And staff is just so funny. Like, this feels like I'm about to refill. But what this really is that this is stagnation, if you will. I don't feel like that's the right word for it. I was almost wanting to say inertia, but it's like there's a lack of movement here, which is what the Chariot in the reverse is speaking to. But it all goes back to your two horses. It's like your feminine energy hears from spirit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got gifts. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got ideas for days. Y'all got inspiration for days. Y'all got advice and wisdom for days. But, and this is just me channeling this, it's like the people who I'm talking to who would resonate with this, it's like you've just been very marred by life. You have been the good friend, you have been the strong friend, the supportive friend, the supportive sibling, the money loaner, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've done all of these things and people have taken you for granted and you just got tired. So you just stopped, right? So all of the super dope stuff that you are, you keep it to your damn self. And I really don't blame you for that, fellow Taurian. I have been there. But the thing that has happened over time that you haven't realized, which brings us into the masculine aspect of this, is there's a lack thereof of action being taken, meaning, like how I was saying with the job, there's a lack of upward mobility, right? So whether we look at that job that I saw as a metaphor, or if we look at it literally, it's the fact that you guys have gotten to a point of stasis where there is no movement, but it's like you conditioned yourself into it that you didn't even realize you weren't moving. Right? So you're receiving things, you're in possession of things. You have a reason for stepping away, jumping out of the frying pan to the fire. You have every reason to do that because people have lied and betrayed you and backstabbed and taken advantage, right? They have done those things and they don't deserve all of the wonderful greatness that you are. However, that caused an imbalance. There's no reciprocity there. So it's like it's off kilter. So with feminine being off kilter, the inner world, right? Not letting people in or not anything out, that started to slow down the masculine aspects of you, which is your ability to take action on things, right? And it could be a myriad of different reasons as to why you tell yourself why you don't do it. Like I said in the beginning, I don't have female friends because all females are catty, right? And it's like solitude. I'm an introvert. I'm an empath. I'm not isolated. So it's almost like you and why are all these TLC shows coming up? It's almost like if you think about like hoarders, right? I don't have a problem. Like I really need, all of these old newspapers for this art project that I'm working on. And the next thing you know, you're living in a house that has newspapers from the ceiling to the floor. It's like it's something that happened over time. And now you just found yourself in the middle of all of this. And the only thing you know is that you want to move forward, but you're telling yourself it's because of other stuff. And this is the why, you know? This is literally why. All of these cards are reversed, by the way. I'm just saying. This is literally the why. This all started the moment that you proverbially isolated, when you stepped out of alignment, but you looked at it as saving yourself from a situation, but you're not seeing that you jumped all the way to this other polarity. And there's never been any middle road. So to say it this way, going back to the Six of Cups in the reverse, Taurus people don't like being controlled. Any means necessary. We will go China shop in a minute. However, you need to be fully aware that whatever this event is in the past, like we talked about last month, the cross, we made the decision to go down the other path. This person's situation or circumstance is still controlling your life. You just aren't aware of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the entire life that you've built up to this point, decisions that you've been making, stepping out of alignment with what it is you really want. It's like you haven't seen this entire time that you've vacated or abandoned your authentic self because of a disappointment or a hurt or a loss that happened way back when. You didn't realize that you became a recluse when you're really just an introvert that needs solitude sometimes, but you've convinced yourself that you don't like people and I don't like going outside, I don't like being around people, and now you're a recluse. And the only reason why you keep perpetuating it is because you're telling yourself that lie and to rationalize it in order to stick with it. But while you're being a recluse, you feel as if something's missing. It's like there's a void. It's like there's like a hole in your soul. You know what I'm saying? It's monotonous. It's humdrum, like, same stuff every single day. Right. But what the task is this month, dude, is bringing both of these back into the upright. I feel for your feminine is really not going to be too complex because you guys are a storehouse of love, information, knowledge, resourcefulness, right? It's just you have to come to a place where you can find that middle road, like how I tell you guys my story about the three houses. Instead of having a house with no windows, no doors, no fence, and people could come in and out whenever they please, or a house that has the 10-foot electric fence with all the, Dobermans and locks and all that on the windows. It's being a house that has a fence with a gate that you can lock and unlock, having doors and windows that you can lock and unlock, and you use your discretion of when you want people to come in and when you don't. So you can keep yourself protected, right? But there's a need to be able to trust your judgment, to be able to trust your discernment, but not necessarily write everything off, right? And that's where we come into the masculine aspect of this, of he's protecting the wife. He knows what she's in possession of. He knows what she has to offer, but that's his bait. So he ain't gonna let nobody come at her like that. So it's more or less you needing to know that you have the power to utilize discretion, to know when people are shit people. Like, I mean, we done met enough of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what a shit person looks like. But you have to be able to trust your brain, everything it is that you know, to trust your intuition and your discernment to be able to know when to open the door so people get to, commingle with the Queen of Pentacles, you know? But it's like right now, y'all in a hoarded out house with buku newspapers up into the ceiling, all because of a situation that happened past tense. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not that situation, but I feel you guys, like I said, with this, You're seeing every person like that. Like I said, the female coworker, she wants to go have coffee with you, and you're looking at her like the chicks who, mean girl you in high school. She not them. Just because she's a girl doesn't mean that she's like them. You know what I'm saying? So this is like a coming home, Taurus. That's what the month of April is for you guys. It's a coming home to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it's you almost like re-entering society, if you will. I just think it's so interesting my guys have been saying it like this, because I know like all Tauruses are not recluses that, don't talk to people. Like I know that's not the case, but I think it's interesting they're giving me that analogy of just this stuckness, this like hoarded kind of vibe. But it's not saying there's anything that needs to be done because you guys have everything already. It's just learning how to use it, if you will. You know, it's like having, like a, what do you call those? The Instapot. The Instapot is like a miracle worker, okay? But it's like having an Instapot and not knowing how to use it. And if you knew how to use it, it could make your life so much better and would get you to the end goal so much quicker. But it's like not taking the time to learn how to do it. And I feel like that's what the month of April is for you guys. It's not about you guys acquiring any more stuff because you have everything that you need. It's you just getting those instructions to learn how to do it, if that's making sense. And I hope and pray that that's making sense, because this has probably been the most interesting reading that I have ever done on YouTube ever, because my house alarm went off. But I hope and pray that that's making sense, Taurus. But overall, I feel like this is a good month for you guys. It's just getting to this middle road of you guys being able to take action in a balanced sense, because I don't feel you guys want to go into what's for you. And I would have to say in y'all birthday month, because I know most of you guys are like at the latter part of April, but it's like going into Taurus season, it's like there's an explosion that happens in freaking Taurus season. And I feel like you guys are going to be fast tracked into stuff. I feel why this is coming up is because you don't want to go into this new season with this energy. You feel what I'm saying? Because then we're just going to be perpetuating more of the past into the future. And this isn't who you are. It's about you coming back to the truth of who you are and not allowing a past situation to have power and dominion over you. You know what I'm saying? But those of you who have people that you love, trust, that you can, speak with, that can, if it's your therapist, whatever. I think this month is going to be a really good month to reach out to another person, because you can easily get caught up in your head and just be kind of recycling this. But I feel this month is a person that you trust, that's wise counsel to you. This would be the perfect month to allow another person to speak into your life. Like, I kid you not, because I feel heavily it's like a communal person kind of aspect that can really help to guide you out of this energy that I'm seeing, you know, which goes completely against strong friend mentalities that some of us sometimes, you know what I'm saying, asking for help and whatnot or whatever, you know what I'm saying. But anywho, Taurus, has been your soul session for April. I hope that this helped you guys. I hope that just your I thank all of you guys for being here, and I sincerely appreciate you. But your extended is up on the Vimeo and the network and all those other kind of places. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. I will be back for the rest of the week finishing out the signs. And as always, I love your freaking face. And I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends.